it can be kind of really hard sometimes, like managing being a mom, being a wife, and being a friend. So how did you do that growing up?
Well, and sometimes it's lonely because you go through a season with no friends.
Yeah.
Whether it's circumstantial or just where your kids are or whatever. But I did have friends, and everybody thinks I have a ton of friends because I'm an extrovert.
She does have a ton of friends.
No, I really don't. I have a handful of really close friends that I would tell my stuff to, I would complain to, I would celebrate with, or whatever. I have a handful, like 3. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Wire Talk. Today, we are going to be talking about friendships. Everybody needs friends, whether you're an introverted mom, a working mom, a busy mom of high schoolers, or a new mom in town. Friendships make your life richer. So let's just get right to it and get to those questions.
Well, hello, moms, and happy early Valentine's Day.
Yes, we're wearing pink in honor of Valentine's Day.
When we were talking about outfits, I was like, let's wear pink.
Yes.
And I also feel like Abby's favorite color is pink, so she probably even loves Valentine's Day even more because of the color.
Everybody loves a good Valentine's Day, I think.
You know, when I was younger, I really didn't love Valentine's Day.
Why?
Because it was just kind of like, I didn't have a boyfriend, and it was all terrible. And the older I've gotten, I sometimes love Valentine's Day, but I have to not look so much on social media to see what everybody else is doing on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and just keep it.
Because I can just get like, well, their husband did this for Valentine's Day. And Brian's a great husband, but he's probably not going to buy me 6 dozen roses and make a rose petaled path to the kitchen. Yeah. Which would be nice. But then I have to clean it up.
That's right.
So,
well, I think expectations is a big deal for Valentine's Day, and keeping your expectations low. And you know, whenever I was younger, my mom and dad always gave us like a box of Russell Stover's chocolates, the Pecan Delights. And I love those to this day. I love those. But as I've gotten older, I don't want a whole box of chocolates because then I will gain 10 pounds because I will eat all of them.
One of my best friends since 4th grade, she is in the jewelry world, and she's a gemologist, and she's just, I mean, her talents are amazing, but she gets her daughter I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a hand-painted lacquered rose. So every year her daughter gets a rose for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
And they're so pretty. I'm like, do you not let her play with them? And I'm like, no, if they break, it's fine. But instead of getting roses that fade away, she now has like, she'll be 3 this year. So she has 3 or 4 lacquered, beautiful roses.
Wow.
I know. Leave it to my friend who does that because she's just, you know.
That's pretty creative.
Her. It is very creative. And she's like, she'll keep them for forever.
Are they with the stem and everything, or just the rose?
It's like a real rose, and they like cast it. And like she has, I think this year she wanted a rainbow rose. So she went to the person. She's like, my daughter wants a rainbow rose. And so, I mean, she showed me a picture of it, and it's very pretty. But it's just interesting because, you know, your family did chocolates. That my friend gets like a beautiful rose, and I mean, I don't really know what we do. It's just
Brian always gets you a dozen roses, and Harper a dozen roses.
Well, Brian always gets me a dozen roses the week before Valentine's Day.
True.
He's like,
the prices are cheaper.
The price is cheaper. He's like, these are Valentine's Day, but they'll be 2 times more expensive next week. Which I'm like, you know what? As long as I have flowers in the house.
Yeah.
I
really love
care.
Flowers in the house.
I don't
always
really care. So, but anyways, we're talking about friends today.
Yes, we are.
Oh, I love that. So, Mom, this is kind of a big deal because as a mom, you know, you have friends that go in through the seasons, and then you go through seasons of life where you're close with friends, and then you're not close with friends. And so how did it can be kind of really hard sometimes, like managing being a mom, being a wife, and being a friend. So how did you do that growing up?
Well, and sometimes it's lonely because you go through a season with no friends.
Yeah.
Whether it's circumstantial or just where your kids are or whatever. But I did have friends, and everybody thinks I have a ton of friends because I'm an extrovert.
She does have a ton of friends.
No, I really don't. I have a handful of really close friends that I would tell my stuff to. I would complain to. I would celebrate with or whatever. I have a handful, like three. But sometimes it's just one, so I just vary. And I was thinking the other day, like whenever I was answering these questions, like who are my go-to friends? And there's really three ladies that they are not even connected. So we're not like a group of four.
Right.
We're all individual, but I have a connection to each one of them in different ways.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay for me because I have a busy life. I mean, I've got, my family, you guys take up a lot of my time.
We do.
And y'all are my friends. I mean, my girls have definitely become my friends. So, how about you?
Well, Kelsey and Abby and you are definitely my friends. I talk to you guys every day. I text you every morning. Good morning, like with the sunshine emoji. It's like our thing. But then I have some, and Kelsey and Abby are my best friends too. But I have a sweet friend that we've always been close. And then over the past couple of years, she's become one of my best friends. And I talk to her about everything. Like, I mean, here's a picture of my coffee. This is what my kids are doing. Like, it's not like we're talking about a ton of crazy things.
Right.
But she's definitely one of my best friends. And,
that's good.
We send things on, like we'll be texting and then she'll send me an Instagram reel and then I'll send her an Instagram reel and then she'll text me. But it's because we both have kids. Right. They're both around the same ages. We both parent the same, So it's easy for when our kids do play together.
It works.
And I'm agreeing, so it doesn't stress me out. Like, because I trust her parenting and she trusts me and, things like that. But then I have my friends, like I was telling you that I've been friends since 4th grade and she's a working mom. And so our relationship is a little different because I don't text her all throughout the day because she's working, which is fine. Right. It's just, but when we do get together, it's like we're 4th grade again. And it's, we have so much time of friendship.
We have so much life.
So I have a lot of friends and different people that I go to different things, but it's good to have, for me, like those close knit of people.
Of course.
Like my close circle.
Well, bottom line is friendship is important.
Very important, yes.
Yes. Well, let's get to these questions.
Let's do it. And I'm excited about these questions
I am too.
today.
I think they were really good.
All right. Question 1. I recently moved to a town with older kids, 12 and 16. I'm missing out on the casual interactions I used to have when we had to stay with the kids during their activities. I'm struggling to find mom friends. Any tips on breaking into existing mom circles?
Ooh, it's a really good question. And I tell you, getting friends when your kids are older, 12 and 16, that's harder. Because when your children are 12 and 16, they are already plugged in like with friend groups and stuff like that. So if you move to a different area, you are, especially the 12-year-old, taking your kids everywhere. You're sort of separated from your mom friends.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because it's just hard. And then the older your kids get, I don't know, I found it was just harder to have friends, to be friends with their friends' moms. Because like when they were younger, like she says, you're at the park, you're all talking and all that. But whenever the kids are driving, you're separated from the friends of the moms. So anyways. That can be difficult. I'm not trying to give a shameless plug to Birds on a Wire here, but I sort of am because
shameless plug, Mom.
Start a Birds on a Wire group for moms of teenagers. That moms would come to that. I mean, truly, because they're lonely, just like you. I know she just moved to a new town, but other moms are lonely too in this stage of life. And I really think that a Birds on a Wire group would sort of help bond everybody together. People get to talking, they get transparent and share, and that really does build community. So, but if you don't want to do that, I understand. I always really enjoyed getting into a Bible study and just trying to find ladies in my same stage of life in that. The main thing is you have connection, communication, and you share common ground. That's really sort of the key ingredients of finding friends and building friendships in my mind. So, but if you've moved into a new area, give yourself 2 years. It really does take about 2
years.
I know that's a long time, but that's how long it takes just to sort of cultivate and develop new friendships, deeper ones that you want to last over the duration.
So how can you encourage this sweet mom as she starts that 2-year journey? That's a long time to be lonely without friends.
Well, I'm not saying you won't have friends for 2 years, but it takes 2 years to develop deeper friendships.
Oh, I'm like, you don't have friends for 2 years?
No, it just takes you a while to find your community.
Got it.
I had a good friend of mine, and she lived in the Cumming area for years and years and years. Her kids all grew up here. Everybody knew her. She was very well known. Then she moves to Greenville, South Carolina. And it took her a long time because her children were in college. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I cannot find my people. Well, now she has found her people and is very plugged in and loves it. But it took her a long time, probably about 5 years. Aww. So, but 2 years with this stage. So what does a mom do? I would pray and ask God to give you the courage to put yourself out there to meet new friends and not to be like, it doesn't have to be so instant, to give you courage to put yourself out there.
You said something about starting a Birds on a Wire group, and that is a little bit daunting for sweet moms to do that. And I just want to share with you that I did it one time, and it was very overwhelming for me. You know what I mean? And at the time, I started one, and I just put it on Facebook, and I was just like, hey, I'm going to start a mom small group. I figured out a time that worked for me, and this is the time. And it brought such a sweet circle of friends into my home. And if you don't already know that there's a BOAW Moms Facebook group, and that group,
the private
Facebook group, yeah, and that group has a really good community. And if you do want to start a group, I would just put it on that group. Like, you have to be accepted. And so, just ask to be a part of it. And then just say, hey, I live in XYZ and I would like to start a group on Tuesday at 3:00, like whatever works for your schedule. And that community will really love on you because
I've had other moms post something at their neighborhood pool, like on the bulletin board, things of that nature. I'm telling you, moms will come because they're just as lonely as you are.
But you do have to pray for courage because you've got to take that first step.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Hey moms, producer Katie here. Did you know that Karen travels all over the country and even internationally, bringing her practical biblical teaching to groups of moms? We are booking now for 2024, and Karen would love to come teach her life-changing content on temperaments, discipline, and all things motherhood to the moms in your community. Karen books events that last an hour, a day, or even multi-day weekend conferences. And booking is way easier than you think. If you're part of an organization that has resources to host outside speakers, head to our website, birdsonawiremoms.com/invite, and fill out our simple form. In about a minute, you can send an inquiry to us, and I will personally get back to you to talk about having Karen bring her practical parenting wisdom to your town. Again, head to birdsonawiremoms.com/invite and fill out that inquiry form today. All right, let's get back to the show.
Question 2. I'm an introvert, and after a full day of mommying, just the thought of socializing drains my energy. Any advice for finding friends without feeling overwhelmed?
I hear. I'm not an introvert, but I'm married to an introvert, so I totally understand that world. I just think to keep the socializing in a smaller amount. It doesn't have to be a large group. It could be one-on-ones or just, dinner with 2 friends instead of a whole group of friends. Your dad, Greg, is very much an introvert. So large crowds, he does not like. He likes smaller, intimate gatherings. So you got to do what works best for you and your temperament. And so if you know that you're an introvert for yourself, you're already overwhelmed, you're already stressed out, then think about what's going to work for me and then do that. Maybe just a one-on-one friend, going out to eat, to the movie, go and grab a cup of coffee, whatever, having that person over to your house, whatever it is, just make sure you're making it work for you and not doing what everybody else is doing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So what's the one practical thing this mom can do this week to initiate some type of relationship and friendship?
Just go at your own pace. I would start off with a text to a friend and just be like, hey, I've been really busy. It's been a busy season of life, but I miss you. Can you get together sometime this week and let's catch up? Something like that.
Yeah. Question 3. Being a working mom, I find it hard to make time for friendships because I'm so tired come evening and I need to prioritize my family. Any suggestions for working moms?
That's a good question. Finding that balance in working moms and friendships can be difficult. I mean, truly. My advice, in Mom Core, I talk about time management, and there's your non-negotiables, your essentials, and your bonus. Well, sometimes in our life, in the seasons of our lives, if you're a working mom, the friends just have to fall into the bonus category.
Yeah.
So, and that's really hard, but it's just like, it's just what you have to do because you've got this huge thing on your plate, work, that takes up a lot of your time. And your time is then divided even more from your family where you can't be with them because you're at work. So my advice is the friendships that you do decide to invest in, make them be the ones that are life-giving for you and that you really enjoy to be around. So don't just go to coffee and dinner with all these extra people just to have friends. Make sure the friends that you do choose to invest in are worth the investment, if that makes sense.
I have a sweet friend and she's a full-time working mom, but she's a teacher.
Yeah.
So in the summertime, we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun and I love it. And then I also think, but then school starts and it's not that she's not my friend anymore.
She's just got a lot on her plate. That's right.
So I think also on the other hand of that, find friends who understand that too. And if they're like, you never text me, it's not necessarily a healthy friend.
No, and that's not a good investment.
No.
So you have to understand the season of life they're in.
Yes.
What they're going through. So if you are the working mom, you need to tell that to people like, hey, I love our friendship.
Right.
But I can only give so much. And if you have a friend that is a working mom, just give her grace.
Yeah.
Because she needs it, you know, because she's trying to juggle a lot of stuff going on in her life. But that doesn't mean friends aren't important to her.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I know the friend you're talking about, and friends are very important to her.
Yes. And she's a great friend.
And she's a great friend and she loves you. So during the summer,
we're best buddies.
Yeah.
And someone says, does that bother you? I'm like, no, because honestly, you would rather her spend time with her family because
of course
that's where it should be.
She only has a few hours to devote to them.
Yeah. So
you have to be understanding.
Yes. So what would your practical tip for this sweet mom be?
For my working moms out there on friendships, choose well.
Choose well.
Choose well because you want it to be a good investment for you since you only have a short amount of time. We all only have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Sometimes you wish you had more.
Yes.
But we don't.
We don't.
Moving on.
Yes.
Question 4. I'm an older mom compared with my son's peers' parents. I just turned 45, but I'm hanging out in the preschool world with these sweet 30-year-olds. Yes, because of our kids, we have things in common, but sometimes it feels like I'm hanging out with my little sister's friends rather than my friends. How can I find friends my own age?
That's hard. Well, sometimes age doesn't matter in friendships. My best friend is 7 years younger than me, and I have another dear, dear, dear friend that's 10 years older than me. And we're all really, me and those ladies are really close. So, but I can totally understand what she's saying, that she feels like they're her younger sisters and she's just sort of, I'm sure she's listening to the 30-year-olds thinking, oh my goodness, just give yourself 10 years and you won't even care about that,
right.
But so maybe your best friend group isn't going to come from your son's peers' moms, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. Just know I like these ladies. They're really sweet. They're nice. We probably won't be on this deep level together just because we're not in the, 15-year gap is, it makes a difference. But I really like them and I can socialize with them. But my friend group is probably going to be someone that's not associated to my son. And that's okay.
Yeah. It's good advice.
So, but the main thing is find your people. It's all about finding your people that, pour into you.
So then what would your practical advice for this mom be?
I would just pray and ask God to bring the right friend into your life that could be your people, your person, and all of that. And like I said, smaller is sometimes better. Quality is more important than quantity.
Quality over quantity.
Just be open to what God wants to do. Be open to what God wants to do.
That's great. All right, question 5. This is a heavy question.
This is a heavy question. This is a real life question.
This is a real life question. And the sweet mom, I just want to give you a hug. All right. This is the question. I've been burned by Mom Cliques before. How do I let go of that past hurt and open myself up to new friends again? I'm very much a green people pleaser. Do you think greens are more easily hurt by friends? I feel like I get taken advantage of sometimes in friendships, but I'm not sure how to do friendships differently.
That's a really good question. And I know it's super hard. I don't think greens are more easily hurt than others, like she asked that question.
You do not think greens are more easily hurt?
No.
Okay.
I think I know every color that has been hurt by friendships.
Yeah.
Every single color. I mean, Abby, your sister, my daughter, is the biggest red I've ever known, and she's been deeply hurt by friends. So I don't think your color has anything to do with you being hurt. Now, greens are more people pleasers. So I can see you being hurt because you've agreed to things and you just want to go along with the flow. And then after a while, people take advantage of your good naturedness, and that can be hurtful. But I don't think greens necessarily have a mark on their back like,
come get me.
Yeah. But I almost think when you have a pattern of being hurt by friends, it's almost good to take a step back and to see, okay, what type of friend is it that I am pursuing? And maybe that type of friend on the outside looks like they're going to be a good friend to me, but then they're not. Try to get to the root of what is the commonality in between all these people that have hurt you. And then whenever you figure that out, try to avoid that trait, if that makes sense. I mentored a girl, well, she's a woman, but years ago, and she just kept having a habitual pattern of being very close to these friends and then getting too dependent on them and them too dependent on her. And then it ended up very unhealthy and all that. And she read a book called Codependent No More. And it sort of helped her zone in on the quality of the friends that she was seeking and realize that's not a good quality for me to be seeking after because it always ends up in an unhealthy relationship. So she had to change sort of what she was looking at in her friends. My other advice is to, instead of just jumping into friendships really fast, take a step back and sort of watch everybody. My advice to you is to take a step back and see what are the patterns here that I can find myself being attracted to these friendships, and then try to be like, nope, that's not a good pattern for me. Let me give you an example. Sometimes as a yellow, I can get caught up in, sort of gossipy type situations, especially whenever I was younger. I would be like, they seem like they know all the stuff and all that. And we'd all be friends and we'd all talk. And then I realized as I got older, this isn't a good trait for me. And so I need to avoid those types of people because usually if people are gossiping, they're also gossiping about you and it would end up hurting me. So I would have to say, okay, first off, I'm not going to gossip about people, but I also don't want to hang out with people that are gossiping about others either. That's not a good thing for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. I think that's really smart because sometimes you just want to know the gossip, but you're right. If they're talking about other people,
they're normally talking about you too behind your back.
Yeah.
So, and God just really convicted me like, you don't have to know everything, Karen. So let it go. And I mean, honestly, that was in my 30s. I mean, I'm in my late 50s now, but that was a lesson that I had to learn. Like, I am attracted to these kinds of people, but they're not healthy for me. So, and I'm not a good version of myself either. So I need to let that go. So that's what I'm saying. Like, she might need to, since she continually gets burned, she might need to take a step back and look and say, okay, what are the traits, the common traits that I find myself being drawn to? Is that healthy for me? Ask God. I said, give me wisdom on this. Give me discernment because I want to start choosing better friendships. And whenever you do start choosing different friends, go slow.
Oh, say that again.
When you start choosing different types of friends, go slow and make sure that they're worthy of your friendship, that they're just not in it for themselves, but they, like I said before, common ground, communication, and community. Like that's what you're searching for. So common ground, are you both Christian? That makes a big difference.
It does.
It really does. And are you both searching after the Lord? I know that person you were talking about, how you are constantly in contact with throughout the day and texting and all that. I know that girl, and she is walking with the Lord every single day. So y'all have that common ground that y'all are both seeking God first.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
And it also makes a difference when we're both going through something.
Yes, because you're praying for each other.
To the Lord.
That's right.
And she prays for me, and she's intentional about it, and it makes a huge difference.
And that's a big difference with a friend that is strong enough friend to say, hey, I know you're angry at your husband or your child or whatever, but they are not the enemy here. This is a spiritual battle, and let's pray about this. That makes a big difference. You want somebody that's not going to fuel your fire, but help put your fires out.
That's so good. Man, that's good.
Well, I'm old, people. I've had a lot of this in my life.
Well, I mean, I felt like you've already said it, but what's one practical advice you'd give this sweet mom?
I would pray and ask God to bring you a really good friend, like I said before. But more importantly on this question, I would pray for discernment. I would just say, God, I have a tendency to choose not in a good direction with friendships. I want a friendship that's going to be good to me and true to me. So give me discernment so I can see to their heart, if that makes sense.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, moms, that's a wrap. And we are so thankful for you and listening to Wire Talk week in, week out, and we love it. And I mean, I think sometimes I'm like, oh, friends, this is going to be great. And then you drop these truth bombs on me. I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like, and I've already read the content that we're reading. And then you just see some things that moms need to hear sometimes. And I mean, like, I've got some good friends, and I'm like, even me, I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like, pray for discernment, pray for your friends.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Also, I just want to say Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there.
Or Galentine's Day.
That's right. Love it.
Love it. So if you are listening on Spotify or Apple or however you're listening to us, make sure you like and subscribe so other people can listen to Wire Talk and we can hear more wonderful things. If you ever have any questions that you want for us to answer, really not me, but Mom, if you have any questions that you want her to answer, just email us at info@birdsonawire.moms.com, and we cannot wait to see you next week. See you later.